is just the latest strain on an increasingly fraught relationship between the two. So let's discuss the big picture with Washington Post columnist Josh Rogin. He actually wrote the book on recent relations between China and the United States. It's Chaos Under Heaven, Trump, Xi, and the Battle for the 21st Century. Josh, as always, appreciate you joining us bright and early on a weekend morning. What do you think the Chinese are doing here by vowing to retaliate in kind? I think the framing of that statement is really curious.
Right. No, I think the Chinese government, Boris, knows that it made a big mistake here. They blundered, and now they're trying to bluster to cover up their blunder. I mean, just think about it. The Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, was about to get on the plane to leave for Beijing. That would have been a huge diplomatic win for the Chinese, and they stepped on their own plans by provoking the United States the day before the trip. And now they realize that was a really stupid thing to do, and they have really no choice but to double down. I mean, what are they going to say? We messed up? I've never seen the Chinese Communist Party say that ever. So now they're going to say, oh, well, you know, I'm rubber, you're glue. Anything you say bounces off me and sticks to you. But there's a deep realization in Beijing and a deep understanding on the U.S. side, according to my sources, that they really screwed up here, because both sides have an interest in wanting smooth U.S.-China relations. But we don't want it so bad that we're going to accept this kind of provocation and just go on as like business as usual. Biden can't do that. Politics in the United States won't allow for that. The Chinese don't seem to have understood that. They get it now, and now they've started something that they can't finish. And, you know, what that tells us, I think, is that actually this trip was not really something that was going to change U.S.-China relations in the first place. It's not as if we were about to enter a kumbaya moment and everything was going to be fine. Actually, the problems in the U.S.-China relationship are deeper than a trip or a balloon, and that's why I think U.S.-China relations are destined to go down.
So your read is that this was not intentional, perhaps even by someone within the CCP that may have been trying to sabotage Antony Blinken's trip? I've heard that theory out there.
Well, we can't be sure, but I think what my best sources tell me, and again, top Biden administration officials that I've talked to in the last 24 hours, is that they think the Chinese overplayed their hand. In other words, not that someone went rogue in Beijing, because that's not really how their system works. If you did something in U.S.-China relations that Xi Jinping didn't like, you go to jail or die. So it's unlikely that was the case. What's much more likely is that they thought we would just eat it. They thought that they could humiliate the United States on the eve of the trip, and that we would just go anyway because we want peace so bad and we want good relations so bad. And they were wrong. They didn't understand that. And on our side, sure, we want to reset it if that's possible, if everything's fine, but not at any price. And again, this goes back to the basic problem in U.S.-China relations, which is really what we need to be talking about, which is that it's not really about a visit or a balloon. It's about the fact that the Chinese Communist Party is an aggressive, totalitarian, genocidal dictatorship, which is doing things that we can't tolerate, and about the fact that the things that they want us to do, which is to ignore all of their bad actions, is something that we can't tolerate. And you know, it doesn't matter whether or not Tony Blinken goes there once or twice or three times. Until we get to those problems, the structural problems are just going to get worse. So yeah, this is a setback, and it's a setback that the Chinese brought on themselves. And yeah, they intended to do it, but they miscalculated what the result would be. That's my take.
So Josh, given the very fundamental differences and very real problems that an empowered Xi Jinping presents for democracy and for human rights, et cetera, could there be a path toward some kind of better relationship, some kind of reconciliation, if you will, between the United States and China?
Well, Boris, frankly, it doesn't look like it's in the cards in the near term. We have to keep the door open for better U.S.-China relations, but we have to understand that better U.S.-China relations is not the primary goal of U.S. policy towards China. That was the engagement policy that we failed to realize wasn't working for the last 40 years. That's how we got into this mess in the first place. The primary goal of U.S.-China relations should be and must be to protect ourselves and work with our partners and allies to protect our security, freedom, and prosperity from the threat that China's rise and China's actions presents. If we can get along with them while doing that, great. That's the secondary goal, is making nice with Beijing. The first goal, the primary goal, is protecting ourselves. And the Biden administration knows that. It's not as if they're not thinking that way. So The problem is that in Washington, we have all this happy talk every time there's a meeting between the U.S. and China that somehow we're going to avoid the Cold War and everything's going to be fine. Everything is not fine. And the quicker we realize that and the quicker we work with our partners and allies to increase our actions to protect ourselves from the problems that China's posing to the international order, the better off we'll be. And the sooner that the Chinese realize that we don't want smooth relations more than we want to protect ourselves, that'll be the best outcome for all sides.
Josh Rogin, as always, appreciate your expertise and perspective. Thanks, Josh.
Anytime.
All right, up next, power stations becoming increasingly vulnerable targets for attack.